Hello, 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 and welcome to a Brit Reacts to Bollywood. It is a very wet and windy day here in London, and I want to say to all of my friends in India and around the world, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, Sat Sri Akal Ji, Vanakkam, all the greetings, wherever you are. And today I want to take a look at another film from the 100 Greatest Bollywood Songs. This is from the film Bombay. Now look at this. This is really interesting. It's Tamil. How curious is that? It's Tamil. And I don't know that I've actually watched a Tamil film in this list. I have watched a film where one of the lovers was only speaking in, it might have been Tamil, and then the other was in Hindi. And I'm trying to remember that story. I think it was from the 70s. Star-crossed lovers who couldn't understand each other. It was a very good concept. This is a 1995 romantic drama written and directed by Maniratnam, starring Arvind, Swamy and Manisha Koirala in the lead. Tells the story of an interreligious family in Bombay. Oh, a very similar story to that then, what I was talking about. Before and during the Bombay riots, which took place between December 1992 and January 1993, after the demolition of the Babri Masjid led to religious tensions between Hindu and Muslim communities. I wonder why they would demolish a place of worship. It is the second in Ratnam's trilogy of films that depict human relationships against a background of Indian politics, including Roja and Dil Se. The film was dubbed in Hindi, Telugu and Malayalam with the same title. It became one of the highest grossing films of Tamil cinema, and it was screened at many international film festivals, including the Philadelphia Film Festival in '96. The soundtrack earned composer A.R. Rahman his fourth consecutive Filmfare Best Music Director Award and was considered one of the best Indian soundtracks of all time. Caused considerable controversy on release in India and abroad for its depiction of interreligious relations between a Muslim woman and a Hindu man. It was banned in Singapore and Malaysia on release. 2 bombs were thrown at the house of director Mani Ratnam, who had to be hospitalised with shrapnel injuries. The film was ranked among the top 20 Indian films in the British Film Institute's rankings. This is crazy. And I love the poster, by the way. Very classical. I had an issue with the last video I did. Somebody commented that London is Londonistan and that Westerners don't seem to know the problem with a particular religion. I know exactly what the person was saying and what ideology they were coming from. I cannot tolerate intolerance. I think that there's been a problem around the world, in the West and in parts of India, where it's become acceptable to treat Muslim people or people who happen to be of that faith, who happen to worship in a particular way, who happen to wear a particular type of clothing. And I don't want to take too much politics into what is essentially a thing about culture. But this is a question of culture now. There is a problem where they seem to think that they can persecute a minority because they happen to worship in a different way and they happen to approach God and spirituality in a different way. Let's be grown up and let's not imagine that we are somehow superior to somebody else because we were born into a certain religion. You cannot attack somebody physically because they happen to represent a religiously diverse relationship where one person is one religion and another person is another religion and they happen to love each other. Are you a human being or what are you? What kind of a person attacks, mobs, bullies other people, other communities, burns their places of worship or their houses just because they're different? Just because you don't agree with their view of spirituality? Guess what? Spirituality is much bigger than humanity and much bigger than human beings. There are many ways to be a spiritual person, to approach God. We don't know the answers. We don't know all the answers. And we should have humility in approaching other human beings and their choice of how they live their life and how they live spiritually. We should be beyond that. So, this poster is black and white. It's very powerful, I feel. And Manisha Koirala really dominates that image with her beautiful face and her headscarf. And the lover there running, almost like in the film North by Northwest, running madly. Let's look at this song. I don't know what to expect. I hear that it's great. It's sung by Chitra. Let's take a look. Wow. So colourful. Really nice visuals and cinematography. Very colourful. She's brilliant, Manisha Koirala. That's lovely. That's beautiful. Qawwali music. Oh, I love it. Really nicely visual. Very naturalistic, very believable. Oh, it's like a documentary. The voice is extraordinary. It's a real feast for the eyes and the ears. so beautiful. This is so good. This reminds me of George Lucas's film American Graffiti, which he filmed in 1973. There are beautiful moments in this, just like in American Graffiti, where it's so naturalistic. It's probably one of the most naturalistic videos I've seen in this whole series. And what I mean by that is very human. It's not overly staged. It's more documentary-like. In American Graffiti, it's known that there are a lot of moments where he would keep filming until an accident happened, or some little quirk of an extra person or one of the actors would do something by mistake or something, which is very human. It's not staged, it's not actor-y. American Graffiti did this where somebody had a little bike accident, and it's the same in this. You see moments where the love interest guy who's hanging around, he's just playing, and he sort of jumps off that pillar, and another moment he bumps into a woman in the crowd and he apologizes to her. Things like that. This is really, really documentary-like and human and not pristine and not perfect. It's not staged like that. That is really excellent direction by our friend Mani Ratnam. I really sense the level of skill. And the fact that the lead guy isn't buff and some kind of Adonis hero. He's an ordinary looking guy in an ordinary looking shirt. And Manisha Koirala, although beautiful, looks like she's very much a part of this group of people. You know, it looks like a sort of wedding or some kind of celebration there. The voice is extraordinary. Such a beautiful feast for the ears and the eyes. I could watch this whole film very happily. I really think it's powerful. This really is a wonderful film. I can sense that it's threatening to people who feel insecure about their own community and their own path and tradition and that stuff. The idea of a mixed relation, an intermarriage, is a very powerful one, and it's challenging to some people. But that's the nature of humanity. We don't always go for the same. We go for whatever and whoever we fall in love with. All right, I am your Brit Reacting to Bollywood. I want to hear your feedback below. Much love to you all. Chin chin, cheerio.